What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video here. Michigan just beat Nebraska 34-3 to improve to 10-0 on the season. It was not a very pretty win. In fact, it was a very boring game in a way. Our offense did not show anything, and the passing game really was just not there against Nebraska. However, we still beat them by 31 points. Before we continue in this video, if you guys are new around here, make sure you guys go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video if you go ahead and enjoy it. Going to be going over Michigan's win over Nebraska, what was said after the game from Jim Harbaugh in his post-game press conference, and some injury updates. But let's just talk about it. Michigan, this clearly was not their best game, especially from a viewer watching the game. It was, really was not pretty at all. However, some would say this is just Michigan's type of football. This team just continues to keep winning. The defense was absolutely dominant in this one, but I want to talk about Michigan's offense. Blake Corum had another outstanding game. He had 28 carries, 162 yards, and a touchdown, continuing to build on his Heisman year stats. He had a good game, however, he really didn't bust out a long run. His longest run of the game, I believe, was just a 12-yard run, but he continued to fight for yardage. CJ Stokes also had a good game. He came in the second half. He had 8 carries for 68 yards. He's looking very good. He's only a freshman, so very big upside for him in the future. Donovan Edwards only had 2 carries, 13 yards. That's because he got hurt in the first half. From what we can tell, it's nothing too serious. However, we'll get into that later in this video. And then for receiving, it was literally nobody except for Ronnie Bell. He had 4 receptions, 72 yards, and a touchdown, a connection from Jim McCarthy. And Colston Loveland, the freshman tight end, starting because Luke Schoonmaker is injured as well. He has a minor issue, but he had 2 receptions for 40 yards. He looked good in the game against Nebraska. So let's talk about it. Give me your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. We obviously can't complain about the offense. We are 10-0. It's working, but the passing game, it's not looking good. And Jim McCarthy, he's missing on his deep balls. He went 0 for 4 on passes 20 yards or more. And Jim McCarthy finished the game 8 for 17, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran one in and he passed one to Ronnie Bell. So again, Jim McCarthy, he has to work on his deep balls, and preferably he can start hitting them before the Ohio State game. We're gonna need some clutch throws from him against Ohio State, and I know some of it isn't his fault. You can blame the receivers, but at the end of the day, with J.J. McCarthy throwing the ball, and he has been overthrowing them a little bit. You just gotta bring it down a little bit and give the receiver a chance to make a play. But the receivers also do have to get open and help him out a little bit. Both take blame though. And, they say in practice they're hitting on them, but it's just not showing in the game right now. So hopefully before Ohio State they can fix that up, and, they can make some big plays against Ohio State. The red zone offense looked a lot better. J.J. McCarthy had a nice pass to Ronnie Bell and a nice RPO there, and then he ran one in. So the red zone offense was very good. The offense was a little stale, but they couldn't pass the ball that much, so they relied a lot on their run game in this one, and it worked. They beat them 34-3, and it's on to Illinois next week. They have a very good defense that should be a good test before Ohio State. But looking on our defense, you could really make the case that Michigan has the best defense in college football right now. They have outscored opponents something like 112-3 or 113-3, something like that, in the second half in their last 5 games. An impressive number. And Nebraska just had 146 total yards, 71 passing yards, 75 rushing yards, and just 3 yards per play. No turnovers in this game. However, Michigan did have 2 sacks, one by Mason Graham, the freshman, and one by Junior Colson. Will Johnson had a phenomenal game, the freshman cornerback. Junior Colson, Mason Graham, Mike Samershill, Michael Barrett, Chris Jenkins, They all had a very good game, including Rod Moore. Mike Morris did go down in the second half. I don't think it was too serious. To me, it looked like it was just cramps. So he should be fine, but I'm sure we'll get an update later in the week. But yeah, I mean, the defense has just been phenomenal, and hopefully they continue the success. This team is the only team built to beat Ohio State right now, both defensively and offensively. The only thing on offense is the passing game can be better. I'm not saying it has to be better to beat Ohio State, because I think, with this offense we could still beat them if the running game has success, but it would be very nice to have that passing game if we need it, or if we trail in that game. Michigan had a total of 412 yards, 148 passing yards, 264 rushing yards, and 6 yards per play. Again, no turnovers by either team in this one. Also, going back to the defense, Michigan really locked down Trey Palmer, Nebraska's very talented wide receiver. He only had 5 receptions for 12 yards. They did a very good job of locking him down. But yeah, so the update on Donovan Edwards' injury, Jim Harbaugh in his post-game press conference said, he doesn't think it's too serious. It's just, minor injury. He was standing on the sideline. Looked like, if they needed him, he would go in, but I think they just didn't want to risk it, just kept him out. But he looked fine on the sideline, and I just said that we will, know more later in the week. Then Luke Schoonmaker is also expected to make a quick return. He just had a minor injury as well. Like I said, we'll learn more in later in the week. But Jim Harbaugh also in his post-game press conference, he was asked about if it's difficult for JJ McCarthy to get into a rhythm when the team runs 44 times and only passes it 17 times. And Jim Harbaugh responded saying that, yeah, that's valid. Didn't really speak too much on it, but he knows that there's a problem with the passing game, or at least in this game, but didn't really seem too concerned about it. I think that all he cares right now is about winning and doing what they have to win the game. But Harbaugh, very run heavy type of coach, and he's going to do what he has to do to win the game. But that's what he had to speak on about the passing game. And then, just talking about Michigan's ride and the success they've had. In the last 24 games, Michigan has won 22 of those 24 games in a collision course coming against Ohio State at the end of this season. Speaking about that, he just said, just going 1-0, that's what we're trying to do each week. He said he's really proud of this team, and he said it's a happy ride, the ride that they're on. That's what Jim Harbaugh had to say post-game. Let's go ahead and give my key takeaways before we close this video out. Key takeaways from this one, obviously, is the offense, the passing game. Can JJ McCarthy fix his deep ball before Ohio State? Also, the receivers, can they help him out? Can they get better and live up to the talented wide receivers we thought they were at the beginning of the season? And obviously the running game continuing to have success, and obviously just how dominant Michigan's defense has been, and can they continue that success into Ohio State? But Michigan beats Nebraska 34-3 to improve to 10-0 on the season. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead, leave a like, subscribe for more, leave a comment down below, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.